Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm moving head to Arashi.
And I'm Hussain Ali. Let's have a look at the headlines for tonight.
President's 5 Triumphant Years for Sri Lanka manifesto launched today. Triumph for All manifesto presented to the chief prelates of Malvatta and Naskiri chapters by presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa. Presidential candidate Anurukumara Dissanayake says the first unified government of all ethnicities will be formed under the National People's Power. Presidential candidate Namal Rajapaksa says unified state with a domestic perspective will be formed. Criminal syndicate member who was in hiding in Dubai brought back to Sri Lanka. Typhoon Shanshan pummels Japan. All of those and more stories in detail on today's top story. President Ranil Wickremesinghe launched the 5 Triumphant Years for Sri Lanka with Ranil Manifesto in Colombo today.
And the event was held with the participation of public representatives and civil society representatives. The President left the Presidential Secretariat to take part in the launching ceremony of his manifesto. The manifesto, the 5 Triumphant Years for Sri Lanka with Ranil, comprised of 5 core principles, including the Theravada trade economy, operation beyond 2025 towards a prosperous nation, a win for the motherland, and a united Sri Lanka. The manifesto was first presented to religious leaders led by the Mahasangha. He also launched the website www.ranil2024.lk. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that in 2022, when the country was in turmoil, no one was willing to step up and take charge of the government. He said that yet they accepted the challenge and successfully stabilized the economy by 2023. He said that they have maintained the strengthened the stability, and to further secure and protect it, he said that they must pivot towards an export-oriented economy. He said that they are committed to working within that framework and refuse to jeopardize the economy again by making unrealistic promises. And he would like to ask the other candidates if they are prepared to act within this framework and if they are willing to implement these agreements without any amendments. The most critical initiative is to create 100,000 jobs and income streams for the youth. Additionally, he said that they will provide financial support to 50,000 school leavers, enabling them to use vouchers for technical training at any institute of their choice. He also said their vision extends to 2048 and that they are ready to start working immediately. On September 21st, he said that they will make a symbolic gesture by voting to gas cylinder and turning on the switch, signaling that they will resume their work from September 22nd. The President emphasized that this manifesto with the 5 pillars, including reducing the cost of living, creating jobs, providing tax relief, promoting economic growth, and implementing programs to ensure that every citizen has the right to own land and a home. According to the manifesto, relief will be provided for essential commodities within a short period. Steps will be taken to ease the cost of living. A concessionary tax methodology will be introduced while revising the existing tax system. Tax-free service allowance will be extended for professionals. Intermediate taxes to be abolished. A national social security policy will be introduced to create a financial hardship-free generation. Benefits will be provided for 2.4 million families in need of financial support and a 15,000 rupee allowance for poverty-stricken families. New employment opportunities are expected to be created through Central Bank, Fiscal Management, Fiscal Debt Management and Economic Transformation Act. Every citizen will have the right to own land and a home, and the National Resources Fund will be commenced. Also, the cooperative movement will be restructured. Through the Urumia initiative, land rights will be provided to 2 million people, and the transfer of ownership of low-income government housing in Colombo will be completed within 4 years. Paddy farmers are expected to receive a 25,000 rupees subsidy and school children to receive a free glass of milk as per the manifesto. A secretariat on the international trade will be established to promote international trade. Srinkamli to be transformed into an energy hub, while a complete e-state service will be established as per the manifesto. All school children will be given English education, and plans have been made to award 2,500 English teacher appointments. Establishment of new villages for estate workers has been included in the manifesto. A new sports law will be enforced. All state employees to receive a minimum gross salary of 55,000 rupees, including cost of living allowance, considering 2025 as the base year. A University of State Policies and Administration will be established. A methodology for promotions based on merit will be implemented. Priority will be given for state employees without house ownerships under the new state housing scheme program. Salary disparity of pensioners will be resolved. A special employment quota for persons with disabilities and 100,000 employees will be generated in 2025. Vocational training will be provided for youth who are not eligible to receive education beyond advanced level and ordinary level, and 35,000 allowance will be awarded by the government for a year. Housing schemes will be provided for migrant workers as per the manifesto, along with daycare centers and duty-free benefits. Plans to establish a new policy university. The new parliament will be vested with a decision to abolish the executive presidency and a new electoral system. Measures to hand over the responsibility to compile a new constitution to the parliament following 1 year from the parliamentary election.
In the meantime, presidential candidate of Samagijana Balavagia, Sajid Premadasa, presented his policy statement to the chief prelates of Malvatta and Naskiri chapters today. He made the presentations when he visited Sri Daladha Maligava in Kandy. Firstly, the presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa called on Chief Prelate of Malvatta chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatu Ave Sri Sumangala Thera. During his visit, he presented the policy statement to the Most Venerable Thera. Subsequently, the presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa called on the Chief Prelate of the Askiriya chapter, Most Venerable Varakagoda Sri Nararatna Thera, and presented his policy statement. Many senior representatives of the party were present at the occasion. Subsequently, presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa called on the deputy chief prelates of Malvatta and Naskiri chapters and presented his policy statement. Presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa said he called on the chief prelates after receiving blessings from Sri Daladha Maligava and presented the manifesto at an auspicious time. He said that the manifesto has been drafted in a more practical and realistic manner for the well-being of the nation.
පත්ති ප්‍රකාශනය වන්දනීය පූජනීය මහා සංඝරත්නයට ඉදිරිපත් කරා. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපේ මැතිවරණ වේදිකාවල් තුළ විවිධ අවස්ථාවන් වලදී එහි අඩංගු දේවල් ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තිබෙනවා. අපි මේ වැඩපිළිවෙල තාමත්ම පිරිසිදුව, සත්‍යවාදීව, යථාර්ථවාදීව, ප්‍රායෝගිකව රටේ පොදු ජනතාවගේ සුභසිද්ධිය උදෙසත්, මාතෘභූමියේ සුභසිද්ධිය උදෙසත් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නට යෙදුණු ජනතා කේන්ද්‍රීය ජනතාවාදී මාතෘභූමිය ශක්තිමත් කරන ඉතාමත්ම ප්‍රගතිශීලී වැඩපිළිවෙලක් විශ්වාස කරනවා. කාලවකවානු සහිතව මේ වැඩසටහන මහ පොළොවේ සත්‍යයක් යථාර්ථයක් බවට පත් කරනවා.
And in the meantime, the debate defining the vision of Forum on Sri Lanka's economic future was held in Colombo today. It was organized by the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce. The panelists of the forum were State Minister Shehan Singh, who represented the President, Parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva representing presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa, Parliamentarian Professor Ranjit Bandara representing presidential candidate Namal Rajpaksha, and Dr. Harshana Surya Pirma representing presidential candidate Anura Kumara Disanaika. Moderators were Chairman of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, Dominda Pulangamua, and board members of the Chamber, Kasturi Chalaraja. Many public representatives and other interested parties were present at this occasion.
Good morning. Firstly, let me thank, and hopefully we will reach somewhere around 4% growth this year. So the key was reforms. You can't forget the reform path. And more, like Sri Lanka has faced crisis situations in the past. Then we go to the IMF. This is the 17th time we went to the IMF. The moment we stabilize, there is a tendency to reverse. So this vicious cycle plays in Sri Lanka, and as a result, I don't think any of us would wish for a 18th IMF program, which will be very tough than the 17th program what we go through. We have a plan on this. The main reason why we introduced the economic transformation law was aimed at this plan. Because every political leader tends to bring out policies which he thinks would make him popular. So now we have a law in place. The law has targets. It is answerable to Parliament, and it is the duty of any government to ensure that you deliver what is being specified in the law, and if there is a deviation, then still there is a way out to that also, to ensure that the country won't return back to a crisis. We do understand growth is very important, but at the same time stability is also very important.
I mean, I'll be quite honest with you. We all know it was us who advocated in 2020 August, the first day I came to Parliament, 9th Parliament, that you guys better go to the IMF and resolve this before we became bankrupt. All you guys laughed at me, said, what nonsense, we have a homegrown solution. There is no homegrown solution or there was no at the time, right? And we all learned lessons. We don't have to be standing here saying, look, we are unable to change any condition in the IMF agreement. We don't buy that. We didn't oppose the government going to the IMF. We didn't vote against it because we knew as a responsible opposition that was necessary at the time. Now, from that day on, we said there are certain things we need to amend. If you recall the graph I put up on the screen that showed how the emerging markets were contributing to global production. It was going up and up and up. And Sri Lanka's case, you saw it going up and then crashing. We are one of the most closed economies in the world. You look at how you measure trade openness, add exports and imports, divide that by GDP, compare against other countries, you'll realize yourself.
You see, this is an integrated growth model where we have state priority.
What is the state priority you're talking? What is the state priority you're talking?
National interest, economic growth, social progression, environmental sustainability, and which is integrated, connected to each other. You can't look at anything in isolation. Now, say for example, economic growth. Can it happen in isolation? No. You have to have a holistic approach. Right?
But Professor Bandara, the thing, I guess what we are trying to get at is this was tried before, and the outcome is where we struggled last 2 years ago. So how do we ensure that whatever approach, if you have the same approach, what's the different outcome we can
look here, this is not just state priority. It's connected with 4 pillars, right? Now look at the second pillar, innovation. What we do innovate, state sector, agriculture sector, manufacturing sector, service sector. We need to innovate, right? You can have dreams, you can have raised voice with lots of emotions. And if you looked at the investment, entrepreneurship, human resources development, research for commercialization, infrastructure, these are new adding into, I told very specifically the policy framework that we are looking at is very simple.
And the question relating to IMF program and on the DSA. A DSA is necessary for a country to negotiate based on their basis. What is the projection? What are the outflows? What are the inflows? What's the external sector going to be, etc.? How are you going to refinance? At what point you will reach your debt sustainability? In order to do that, one way is to, obviously IMF has given their DSA model. What we are saying is we will do our own DSA which we have prepared, which we are on the process of finalizing with the input of industry and the experts, which we are doing at the moment. So we will have a basis for discussion with IMFA. Principle number one is we have clearly mentioned we will not derail from the IMF program. Country is not in a position to do that. It will be within the IMF
very
program.
clear remaining the IMF program.
Yes. Okay. But we will we have already mentioned to IMF as well, based on the DSA that we prepare, we will present our case to you. Millions of children are starving. We need to provide relief to them. So they have indicated, give us our ways of reaching out to the revenue targets, give us our ways of managing our expenses, then yes, we should be able to engage in the conversation. To form that basis, we need our DSA. So DSA contains a lot of those information. That's going to be our basis for the discussion with IMF. That is what is.
And moving on to more news here at home, presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anru Kumar Dissanayake says that the first unified government with the support of all ethnicities will be formed under the National People's Power. He made these remarks while speaking at a public rally held in Trincomalee yesterday. The rally was held with the participation of presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anru Kumar Dissanayake, and public representatives of the party, party supporters and many others were present at this occasion. Presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anru Kumar Dissanayake, said that this election will be historic election which will change the political landscape in the country. He said that JVP will be victorious at this election. He said that previously each government was formed based on the preferences of each ethnic group in the country. He said that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa became the president based on extremist and racist votes. Furthermore, he said that each time these two entities formed governments against each other. However, he said that this time the people aspire to form a government with the unified support of all ethnicities.
සියලු දෙනා එකතු කරලා ආණ්ඩුවක් හදන්න නෙවෙයි අනේකාට විරුද්ධව 2005 දෙමළයට විරුද්ධව තමයි ආණ්ඩුව හැදෙන්නේ ඇත්ත ඇතුළාන්තයේ තිබුණ හරය ඒක 2010 යුද්ධය අවසන් වීමේ ප්‍රතිඵලය තමයි ආණ්ඩුව හදන්නේ 2019 ආණ්ඩුව හදන්නේ මුස්ලිම් ජනයාට එරෙහිව මේකයි ඇත්ත වඳ කොත්තු වඳ ඇඳුම් වඳ දොස්තරලා පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය මේ වගේ ඉතාමත් ජාතිවාදී අන්තවාදී සටන් ගොඩනැගුමින් ඇවිල්ලා තමයි අන්තිමට ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ ජනාධිපතිතුමා වාඩි වෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා මේ රටේ ආණ්ඩුව හැදුනේ හැමදාමත් අනේකාට විරුද්ධව අනේකාට එරෙහිව. මේ පළාත්වල දේශපාලනේ බෙදලා තියෙන්නේත් එහෙමයි. අපිට ආණ්ඩුවක් ඕන පළමු වතාවට ලංකාවේ. සිංහල, දෙමළ, මුස්ලිම් සියලු ජනයාගේ විශ්වාසය සහ බැඳීම තිබෙන ආණ්ඩුවක් ඕන. ඕන නැත්නම් ආණ්ඩුවක් ලංකාවේ එක පක්ෂයක් තියෙනවා. ජාතික ජන බලවේගය සියලු ජනතාව එකතු කරන පක්ෂය.
Meanwhile, artists held a media briefing in Colombo. Actor Kalana Gunasekara said that the country should be developed. He said that he sees Anru Kumar Dissanayake as an individual, but a system and a series of policies required to develop the country. He said that following this change, each country in South Asian region will look to be more like Sri Lanka. He said that a new economy can be built which is unique to the country. Actor Buddhadasa Vitanarachi said that by electing Anru Kumar Dissanayake as the next president, the arts culture will be improved within a policy which is a timely need. Therefore, he said that they will extend their support to Anru Kumar Dissanayake.
Anru Kumar Dissanayake සහෝදරයා මේ රටේ 9 වෙනි ජනාධිපතිවරයා බවට පත් කිරීමට අපි දැඩි අධිෂ්ඨානකින් ක්‍රියා කරනවා අපි කැප වෙලා තිබෙනවා අපි
September. Meanwhile, actress Gamya Vijayatasa said that a historical change will be witnessed on September 21st. She said that artists and people are eagerly waiting for this new change. She said that a people-friendly government will be formed which is free from class politics. Professor Saumil Liyanage said that the artist representing JVP has not rallied around the party for the betterment of their professional field, but for the betterment of the country.
අපි මේ කලාකරුවන් සියල්ල ජාතික ජනබලවේගයේ වටා ඒකරාශී විසිටින්නේ එවැනි ගැඹුරු අදහසක් ප්‍රමුදිත කරගන්න අභිප්‍රාය.
Presidential candidate of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapaksa, says the aspiration of the Sri Lankan Podujana Peramuna is to create a unified state through local ideology. He made these remarks while speaking at a public rally held in Horana Ingiriya today. Venerable Ittirikanda Venerable Ittakande Sadhasit said that they were also invited to support the Gas Cylinder Alliance. He said that they will not abandon the leader Mahinda Rajapaksa, who defeated the LTTE. He said that Namal Rajapaksa is the leader for the next 30 years. Parliamentarian Tissa Kuttiarachchi said that Namal Rajapaksa has acquired the experience from his father. He said that he also acquired the experience from his uncle Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who was the defense secretary, as well as where he went wrong. He said that Namal Rajapaksa has the intelligence to govern the country as a 38-year-old. He said that Namal Rajapaksa will bring the digital revolution to the country.
අවුරුදු 65 70 57 පුජ්‍යලයන්ට මෙච්චර කාර්යයක් රාජ්‍ය බලය දුන්න විධායක බලය දුන්නා. ඒ දුන්න විධායක ජනාධිපතිවරයාගෙන් එළියට ආවේ අවුරුදු 65 සිතුවිලි. අවුරුදු 70 සිතුවිලි. ඉතිහාසයේ පළවෙනි වතාවට තමයි මාතෘ භූමියට ආදරය කරපු තාත්තගේ පුතා රට එක්සේසත් කරපු තාත්තගේ පුතා අවුරුදු 38ක තාක්ෂණ විප්ලවයත් එක්ක එන ආදරණීය තාත්තගේ පුතා. අපේ කඳවුරේ ඉතිහාසය හොඳයි.
Presidential candidate Namal Rajapaksa said that the present and the future of the party is in a positive stage. He said that they have shown their ability to work in the past and will continue to do so in the future. He said that those who were against Port City and Hambantota Port are now considering these projects as their main focal points. He said that, however, this is the way to move forward with the development of the country. He said that the Kalang Port City will be making an economical hub and also integrate technological villages with the port city to generate employment.
එක කතාවක් අද තව කතාවක්. කොළඹ වරාය නගරයේ ආර්ථික කේන්ද්‍රස්ථානයක් බවට පත් වෙන විතරක් නෙවෙයි. අපි හදපු තාක්ෂණ ගම්මාන පහ පෝත් සිටි එකත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ කළා. පෝත් සිටි එකේ නිර්මාණය වන රැකී.
And moving on, presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa says that a new era will be established by freeing people from poverty and enabling them to grow on their own might and effort. He made these remarks while speaking at the 25th public rally of the Samagijana Balavekya held in Tangala today. Presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa said that they are planning to extend 50 kilograms fertilizer pack for 5,000 rupees. He said that they have also made plans to impose a certified price for paddy and planning to extend a fertilizer subsidy. He said that a transparent and effective methodology will be followed for the distribution of fertilizer pack and also a fair price will be provided for agrochemicals and pesticides. He said that the people in Hambantota are aware of the services rendered by him in the last 20 years. He said that his father initiated 200 apple factories in the country and many questioned over the funding of these projects. However, he said that his father continued to work on these projects. He said that he will create an era where all segments in Hambantota will be able to self-sustain. He also said that all positive aspects of national programs will be continued and that he will implement a program to eradicate poverty within 2 years.
එනිසා මතක තබා ගන්න මේ හම්බන්තොට දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ ගොවි දීවර කම්කරු ජනතාව ව්‍යවසායකින් ස්වයං රැකියාලාභීන් ව්‍යාපාර කටයුතු වල නිරත වෙන සියලුම ජනතාවට අභිමාණයෙන් ජීවත් විය හැකි යුගය අපි නිර්මාණය කරනවා කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා මේ රටේ විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් ජනතාව දුප්පත්කමින් පෙළෙන්නේ අපි ජනසවිය සමෘද්ධිය ගැමිදිරිය අස්වැසුම මේ හැම වැඩසටහනකම හොඳ ගුණාංගයන් ටික ලබාගෙන දුප්පත්කම තුරන් කිරීමේ වැඩසටහනක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා අපි ඒ යුගයේ බිහි කරනවා මාස 24ක් අවුරුදු දෙකක් ඇතුළත දුප්පත්කම තුරන් කිරීමේ වැඩසටහන ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා 76 වසරක ඉතිහාසය තුල මේ රටේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී ඉතිහාසයේ බලයක් නැතුව වැඩක් කරපු එකම විපක්ෂය සමගි ජන බලවේගය සමගි ජන සන්ධානය.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that even though he invited those who are contesting the presidential election to rebuild the country during the Aragalaya, they opted to reject the offer. He made these remarks while speaking at a public rally held in Hambantota today. Public representative, party supporters and many others were present at this occasion. Foreign Minister Manusha Nanayakara said that the JVP has established offices across the country and bringing buses from all parts of the country to their rallies, spending a large sums of daily just on transport. He said the source of these funding raises questions and it is provided by the forces aiming to create further instability in the country. He said that these forces don't want Sri Lanka prosper. Minister Ramesh Patrana said that the President Ranil Wickremesinghe has spearheaded an extraordinary economic transformation for the country. He said that they should support President Wickremesinghe with gratitude, recognizing his role in rescuing the nation from economic turmoil. Former Minister Rajat Senaratne said that when Gotabaya gave up the country in May, no one took responsibility. The presidential position was given free without a hassle. Sajito, any others could take it, but no one took it, he added. Minister Mahinda Amarweera said that they support President Ranil Wickremesinghe because he stepped up during a crisis when the country was in dire straits. People were suffering and dying in queues, but he took the immense responsibility of rebuilding the nation like a true leader. He said that their future administration, they plan to boost farmers' economy by exporting surplus rice. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that in 2022 he took over the country in collapse. He said that he invited everyone to join rebuilding the nation. Some skeptics doubted their ability to recover, saying the country couldn't be saved and that he was finished. Despite this, he said that the majority of the Sri Lanka Padujana Peramuna, led by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, stood by him. He said that they had their support from day up till now, and for that he is grateful. He said that he did not ask for their support for this election. Every party has the right to make their own decisions during elections. They can compete separately. He said that his decision to run in this year's presidential election was driven by the need to protect the economic stability they have worked so hard to establish.
Presidential candidate Sarath Fonseca says that the people should take the right decision on September 21st. If not, the unthinkable could happen when an individual such as Sajith Premadasa takes over the country. He made his remarks while taking part in a public meeting in Alutgama. Presidential candidate Sarath Fonseca said that when Mahinda Rajapaksa vacated the premiership in 2022, he requested Sajith Premadasa to take over the country. He said that in 2015, a government was formed with 44 MPs. Therefore, he requested to continue with the government for a period of 1 year. However, he said that Sajith Premadasa was hesitant to take over the government without a majority. He said that he lost all respect he had on Sajith Premadasa and that Sajith Premadasa is unable to make sacrifices as a leader.
මට එතුමා ගැන තිබුණ ගෞරවය ඉරියෙන්න පටන් ගත්තා. පක්ෂය ගැන මගේ හෘද සාක්ෂියේ තිබුණ අභිමානය පටන් වැටෙන්න පටන් ගත්තා. මම දැනගත්තා මෙයා කැපකිරීම කරන්න පුළුවන් නායකයෙක් නෙවෙයි කියලා. අද වෙනකොට මගේ හිතේ එදා ඇති වුණ ගෞරවය අභිමානය අද වෙනකොට කඩා වැටෙනවා. නායකයාගේ වැඩපිළිවෙල නිසා පක්ෂයේ අභිමානය ගෞරවය විනාශ වෙලා. සමහර පාක්ෂිකයෝ මේක තේරුම් ගන්නේ නැහැ.
On to more local items, Sarva Jana Balaya Party emphasizes that an agreement has been reached to safeguard the war veterans. This was revealed by presidential candidate Dilit Jaivira. Sarva Jana Balaya said that the agreement was reached considering the potential impact from the Commission for Truth. The agreement signing ceremony was held with the participation of the party members in Colombo today. Presidential candidate Dilit Jaivira said that the leaders today are willing to make any sacrifice to ensure their survival. He said that a commission for truth has to be established for this revolution. He said that this commission should be established to find out who provide funding for these entities.
ගියේ පිටිපස්ස තියෙන. ඔවුන්ට බිලියන් ගණන් සල්ලි දෙන්නේ කවුද? මේ තාක් මේ රට වෙනුවෙන් ඒ ශේෂා කැපකිරීමක් කරපු සොල්දාදුවට අදටත් ඉන්දට යන්න විදියක් නැත්තම් මානසික සහනයකින් හෙට මාව අරගෙන දඩුකඩේ ගහයිද? මාව එල්ලයිද කියලා හිතෙනවා නම් මේ රටේ සොල්දාදුවට කවදා හරි මොහොතක මරණ මංචකයේදීවත් ඔහුට සැලසුමක් නැත්තම් මොකද්ද අපි මේ රටේ කරන්නේ?
Presidential candidate Roshan Ranasinghe said that executive presidency will be abolished after he becomes the president of the country. Speaking at a meeting held in Poronnadu last evening, he said that he will not receive the salary allocated to a president until the pledge is fulfilled. Presidential candidate Roshan Ranasinghe said that the executive presidency should be abolished and elections should be reduced from 4 to 2. He said that he will not receive the salary allocations for post of presidency until the executive presidency is abolished. He said that he will not receive the pension allocated for presidents and will not use any official residences as well. He said that he has used his own funds to purchase air tickets to travel abroad as a minister, which he will continue to do when he is appointed as the president.
නිල වාහනයක යන්න වෙන. ඒ නිල වාහනේ මාසිකව කීයද ටැක්සේරුව කියලා ඒ කුලියත් රජයට ගෙවන. කොහොමත් විශ්‍රාමයට ගන්නත් මරණකල් නිල නිවාසයේ ඉන්න ක්‍රමෙත් මම භාවිතා කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වගේම තමයි එදා ඇමතිවරයා විදියට රජයේ රටේ කටයුත්තකට විදේශගත වුණේ අතින් ගුවන් ටිකට් පත අරගෙන අනාගතයේදී ජනාධිපතිවරයා විදියට රාජ්‍ය තාන්ත්‍රික කටයුත්තක් සඳහා විදේශගත වෙන්නේ මගේ අතේ ගුවන් ටිකට් පත අරගෙන. මට මේිට වැඩිය තව මොනවද මම මේ රට දෙන්නේ?
Meanwhile, presidential candidate Bhattaramulle Sila Ratanathera says that law will be sternly implemented against those who have involved in fraud and corruption. Taking part in the presidential candidate media briefing held at the Government Information Department, Thera said that the country can only be developed through law and not with Dhamma sermons. Presidential candidate Bhattaramulle Sila Ratanathera said that children in some provinces are suffering from malnutrition. Therefore, the Thera said that this issue should be resolved. The Thera said that he will resolve all issues in the country if he is to be elected as the next president of the country. And he said that the children of certain individuals who are in politics have become millionaires and trillionaires. Therefore, he said that he will take stern action against them through the law for involving in fraud and corruption. Also, he said that the country can only be developed through law and not with Dhamma sermons.
ඇතැන් හිටපු අයගේ දරු පරපුර මහා විශාල වශයෙන් කෝටි ප්‍රකෝටි බිලියන ට්‍රිලියන පෙති වෙලා ඉන්නවා. මම වගේ ජනාධිපතිවරයෙක් නම් පහන් කරපු අය ඉන්නවා නම් ඒ අයට නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කළා අවශ්‍ය කරන නීතියෙන් දඩුවම් දීලා තරාතිරකම් මට වැඩක්. තාතක් හදන්න පුළුවන් නීතියෙන් මිසක් ධර්ම දේශනාවලින් නෙමෙයි.
Presidential candidate Nuwan Bopake says that the Nubedev crisis was not created by the public, but due to an error in the economic system maintained by the rulers. He made these remarks while taking part in the presidential candidate media briefing held at the Government Information Department. Presidential candidate Nuwan Bopake said that the capitalism is a concept based on wealth, profit and market. He said that this leads to corruption. He said that this plight faced by the nation at present. He said that under their policy, they are proposing a socialist approach to the economy, instilling fairness in the present system. He said that debt restructuring is completely false. He said the debt crisis was not created by the public, but due to an error by the economic system maintained by the rulers. He said that this led to a debt crisis which is currently at $100 billion. He said that the debt restructuring should be completely abolished and the people should vote for their policy which will not burden the public with national debt.
ඔබ ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශය පිළිගන්නවා නම් ඒ වෙනුවෙන් ඡන්දය දෙනවා නම් ඔබ දෙන්නේ මේ තියෙන ඊනියා ණයපතිගතකරණය සම්පූර්ණයෙන් ඉවත් කළා ණයබරින් සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම රට සැහැල්ලු කරලා ඒ ණයබර ජනතාව පිට පටවන්නේ නැති ක්‍රමවේදයක් සඳහා තමයි ඔබ ඡන්දය දෙන්නේ.
In the meantime, 32nd General Meeting of the Sri Lanka-Pakistan Business Council was held in Colombo recently. At the general meeting, Indra Kaushal Rajpaksha was appointed as the new president of the council. Vice presidents are Gayan Madhumarachi and Vasanta De Silva. High Commissioner of Pakistan in Sri Lanka, retired Major General Fahimul Aziz, attended the event.
the committee members. The Pakistan High Commission has always been very supportive and cooperative to us, and I certainly look forward to working with them very closely in performing our role as facilitators of trade, investment and tourism between the two countries as we pursue the goal of achieving the magical $1 billion trade target. As we all are aware, the enduring relationship between our two nations has stood the test of time. We have consistently stood by each other's side in times of economic challenges, natural disasters, and even in the realm of sports. This steadfast support has been hallmark of our bond.
Pakistan and Sri Lanka have always been reliable allies of each other over historical relations. Since gaining independence from the British, the two countries have enjoyed a conflict-free and a stable relationship. I strongly believe that free trade agreement must be followed at both sides in order to foster trade figures. I would also urge that the FTA between Pakistan and Sri Lanka should be further strengthened by including services and investment for the two countries to have a deeper economic relationship. Pakistan has a huge potential of software developers, programmers, mobile application development and e-commerce specialists. I firmly believe that information technology has much room to be introduced here in the business community as a potential area of giving business solutions. There is considerate potential in tourism service industry also in both the countries. I strongly encourage all of you to explore opportunities or look for possible business joint ventures through hotel industry, tourist operators, companies and other potential public-private partnership models.
Pakistan next year is very important for all of you, 2025. Why? The first thing is that we are going to have a new president. That will be decided on 21st. New president or the old president re-electing for another 5 years. Then we have a very big exercise in Pakistan called international exercise called Exercise Amman, where that more than 34 countries, navies are coming to Karachi. And then in February, Champions Trophy, cricket. If the Indian team decided not to come to Pakistan, India-Pakistan matches, we will ship them to Sri Lanka, considering our rainy season, or to Dubai. So there is opportunity for you. Now you have to grab these opportunities with both your hands. And they always say it's very difficult to do business in Pakistan. I don't agree. You tell me, I will get through you. So the sky is the limit, my friends, right? Same thing there. The big businessmen should come here. And once they come here, they will realize this is our friend.
Vithanagi Don Geetmal Vinoy Dilshan, a member of organised crime syndicate in Sri Lanka who was taken into custody in Dubai while in hiding, was brought into the island this morning. The suspect was brought in by a special team of the Criminal Investigation Department. The suspect has been identified as the main henchman of organised crime syndicate leader Mathugama Shan. The suspect was brought into the country in a special flight belonging to the Sri Lankan Airlines. Warrants have been issued against him for alleged murders, extortions and drug trafficking. The 33-year-old suspect has been handed over to the Mathugama Police and Kaluthara Divisional Crimes Investigation Units. The suspect scheduled to be produced before Mathugama Magistrates Court. Meanwhile, Kaluthara Divisional Crimes Investigation Unit has indicated that the gunman and the driver of the vehicle involved in the murder of Surendra Vasanta Pereira, alias Club Vasanta, have been taken into custody. The suspects have been identified as residents from Nagoda and Ahungalla. The suspects were taken into custody during a raid conducted at the Pinwat bus station following a tip-off. The suspects are scheduled to be handed over to Athuragiriya police for further investigations.
We'll be back with foreign news after a short break.
வெற்றிகள், வினோதங்கள், சாதனைகள், சரித்திரங்கள்.
Now on foreign news, the foreign media reported that Japan has been hit by one of its strongest typhoons in decades.
And due to the weather condition, almost 5 million people in southern Japan have been urged to evacuate. Torrential rain and gusts of 252 kilometers per hour hit the south of the country. Although the typhoon has Welcome back after the break. On to sports news. Paris Paralympics 2024 was inaugurated in a grandeur manner yesterday.
The Paralympics will be held for a period of 11 days in Paris. The inauguration ceremony was filled with many events which showcased the traditions and culture of France. Over 4,400 para-athletes are representing 168 countries are taking part in this sporting festival. They will compete in 22 para-sporting events for 549 gold medals. 8 Sri Lankan para-athletes are taking part in Paralympics, with 6 track and field athletes, a wheelchair tennis player and a swimmer. That's it for tonight's English News Telecast. Thanks for joining us. Good night.